Hello everyone. So we're going to look at how to take a poem and set it to music, the very basics of that. So first of all, find yourself a good poem. Work with the best literature, and that gives you the best possible chance of making this choral piece a success. So I've chosen a short piece by the poet W.B. Yeats because he's an amazing poet, also because he's out of copyright, very important. So dead more than 70 years. That's a general rule, worldwide. But check your local nation to make sure that your text isn't copyright. Sometimes you get 70 years, 60 years, and there could be oddities in the copyright system for your particular country. So just check and make sure. But I am very convinced that W.B. Yeats is out of copyright. And as Verdi said, fewer words and better. Don't choose a massive long poem that you're going to have to set reams of poetry and the whole thing becomes about just getting through the text. You want to let the music do the work. So choose a nice short poem. I would, just for this assignment, not to choose a longer poem and take words out of it. Now, I do that all the time, but just for this task, let's make sure the poem is short enough by itself without having to change too many things. You can do that in your text setting. So this is a little 2-stanza poem, and you have to do quite a bit of analysis of it first before you take it and set it to music. You want to get your creative juices flowing, and you do that through analysing the text. So step 1, read it out like an actor. So that will allow you to hear the stressed and unstressed syllables. So you'll sound a bit funny, but it's well worth it. The falling of the leaves. Autumn is over the long leaves that love us, and over the mice in the barley sheaves. Yellow the leaves of the rowan above us, and yellow the wet wild strawberry leaves. The hour of the waning of love has beset us, and weary and worn are our sad souls now. Let us part, ere the season of passion forget us, with a kiss and a tear on thy drooping brow. So it's a torch song. It's a song of lost love. It's essentially Taylor Swift. Welcome to Dumpsville, population you. It's not me, it's you. So first of all, I'm going to see how many sentences are in this entire poem. So we've got 2 stanzas. So 1, 2, and then the first sentence is the entire first stanza. Autumn is over the long leaves that love us, comma. Comma, and over the mice in the barley sheaves, semicolon. Yellow the leaves of the rowan above us, comma, and yellow the wet wild strawberry leaves. Full stop. So that entire thing is a sentence long, divided up equally into, using this semicolon, into 2 phrases and then 2 sub-phrases with the comma. So it's very regular indeed. And look at the second stanza, it's exactly the same. So it's almost symmetrical around the midpoint here. So it's a very, very regular, tightly controlled structure indeed. I need to see what's happening literally in the poem before I figure out what's happening metaphorically. So autumn is over the long leaves that love us. So the long leaves love us. I assume this is a couple that they're talking about. So long leaves, here's my impression of a leaf up here. And don't be afraid to do lots of cartooning. I find it very beneficial to help me know what's going on literally in the poem. So there's the long leaves, and they love. There's my heart for love. Love us. So we've got 2 people here. And autumn is over the long leaves. So autumn is almost cast as a hue over the long leaves. How does that happen? I don't know. It's it's not possible literally, but it is possible metaphorically. Or maybe it's the hue of autumn, the yellow hue of autumn over the long leaves and over the mice in the barley sheaves. So we've got little mice down here, big ears on them, little tail. There's two mice down here. And don't worry if you're not an absolute Michelangelo like I am. And over the mice in the barley sheaves. So it needs some barley sheaves here. Look at that for artistry. So autumn is over these, and yellow the wet wild, yellow the leaves of the rowan above us. So this is a rowan tree. And the rowan tree is above them. So we've got two people underneath this tree. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. And over the yellow, the wet wild strawberry leaves. So there's some strawberries down here too. Oh, strawberries and hearts look quite similar. Strawberry leaves. So this is a little strawberry bush down here. The hour of the waning of love has beset us. So hour down here. Let's do it 10 to 12 because we're nearly at the hour of the waning of love has beset us, and weary and worn are our sad souls now. So these are sad souls. Let us part ere the season of passion forget us, with a kiss and a tear on thy drooping brow. So I'll just do another one down here. A drooping brow, there's a drooping brow, and the person is putting a kiss and a tear over here. So the person is crying on the other person who's also very sad. Okay, if you're anything like me, you need to do that to figure out what is going on literally. So you can get the image in your head of the two people under the rowan tree and the little mice scampering about the barley sheaves and the strawberries beside them. And then one gives the other person a kiss on the forehead and leaves a tear on it. So this is a song of lost love, and autumn is being used metaphorically here. So it's comparing the relationship, the stages of the relationship to the seasons of the year. So we go from spring into the white hot heat of love in summer, and now they're going to break up in winter. We're on the way there. We're now at autumn, and that's symbolized by everything having this yellow hue. Now, W.B. Yeats won the Nobel Prize. He had plenty of $10 words, and always he had lots of synonyms for yellow, but he chooses to repeat the word yellow. That's important. You might choose to do something similar in your music with that repeated word. Yellow, la la la. There's so many L's in here. Alliteration. So let's point out that alliteration immediately. Long leaves that love us. Yellow leaves. Wild strawberry leaves. We've got two leaves here. Leaves. So yellow, yellow, leaves, leaves. Any other repeats there? We've got weary and worn, sad souls. Sad souls is a special type of alliteration called sibilance. Oh, I forgot about this comma here. So we've got all very regular punctuation, and this is the only bit of punctuation outside that. Think about that. You might want to do something special in your text setting. Let us part maybe a caesura there to show that unusual punctuation in the context of the poem. Let's look at the rhyme. Love us, sheaves, above us, leaves. So that's going to be A, B, A, B. Love us, a rhyme with two syllables, a feminine rhyme, and then just sheaves, masculine rhyme. So A, B, And then is it the same in the second one? Beset us now, forget us, brow. Exactly the same. A, B, A, B. Oh, can we use the same music for both? Let's look at the meter. So to mark in your stressed and unstressed syllables, here's how I do it. Oh, I first of all decide what's stressed and unstressed. Autumn is over the long leaves. Love us. So I'm hitting my right hand on stressed and left hand on unstressed. I put it in like this. A horizontal line for stressed and a little semicircle for unstressed is over the long leaves that love us. Autumn is over the long leaves that love us. So how many syllables do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 syllables. And we count the number of stressed syllables. That gives us our metrical feet. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 4 metrical feet. And over the mice in the barley sheaves. So we've got 4 metrical feet here. How many syllables? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you'll see that it's 11, 10, 11, 10 in every line. And they all have 4 metrical feet. Sometimes we've got a bit of a change down here, but that doesn't affect the general regularity of the meter. This is a strongly metered poem. There's a definite pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables. Now, there's plenty of names for different things, different poetic meters, amphibractic, iambic, dactylic. You don't need to memorize them all. All you need to know is to be able to find what the pattern is. So this is strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak. So we found that pattern. That's all that matters. And you'll see that the same pattern is shared in the 2 stanzas. So we've looked at, so you could do a strophic setting of it and use the same music in both if you wanted to. It doesn't have to be through composed. There's more rhyme here. There's internal rhyme, season of passion. So you might choose to do something there with that. More W alliteration, wet, wild. So let's move on. So we've done our analysis, a quick analysis of it. We see there's plenty of things that we might want to do in our setting of it. We have to look at the title as well, for the falling of the leaves. So the word falling isn't in this, but it's perhaps good to understand the title as a significant part of the poem. Imagine you went and did a setting of this with a rising motive in it, and then you got back and you read the title and said the falling of the leaves. Well, it'd be quite odd that you had used a rising motive maybe in your accompaniment the whole time. So do take on board the title as well, even though you may not use it in your text setting. Okay, I'm going to go on to my MuseScore file. And we're just going to set the first line. So you would go to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, and that's a really good dictionary for showing you the syllabification. Say you're unsure about where to divide the word in its syllables, go to Merriam-Webster and consult that and just double check where your syllabification should go. So is it autumn, A-U-T hyphen U-M-N, or is it A-U hyphen T-U-M-N? That's an easy one, but there's a few subtle ones in it. So make sure you know the difference between a monosyllabic word and a polysyllabic word. I've just been going over my old manuscripts from when I started to compose, and I see that issue a lot. I divided the word rise into 2 syllables, but the word rise is actually just 1 syllable. And you've got 1 syllable words that are quite long, like the word strength. It's got quite a number of letters in it for 1 syllable, and other words like area, quite short, but it has 3 syllables in it. So it could be trickier than it looks. So I've got my score in front of me. I'm thinking about the character of the poem. I'm jotting down a few words to describe the character, the general character of the poem writing them down in my manuscript book. It's bittersweet, it's nostalgic, it's melancholic. That's going to inform my choice of tempo. It's not going to be allegro scherzando. I might go for something like a bit of adagio. I think that would suit the general character of the poem. And I'm going to put in just a note C to begin with. Don't overthink it, just whack in anything. And give me a few more C's. I'm pressing R here to get the same note again. That'll do me. And I need to put in the lyrics now. So I'm going to select the first note. Command from me on a Mac, or Control perhaps for you on a Windows computer. Or, and then I'm pressing a hyphen to get the word divider. Autumn, then spacebar onto the next word is O. And I would consult Merriam-Webster to see where over is divided, but I know it's here. Over the long leaves that love us. That's all we're going to do. And then it's a comma there, because we remember that from our poem. We can get rid of the rest of it. Okay, so it defaults to 4/4, but is that absolutely right? Is that what we want? So in common practice era music, we normally give a slight accent to the first beat of the bar, or in 4/4, the first and the third beat of the bar. So it's going to give autumn is over the long leaves that love us. So there's a disconnect between the stressed syllables and the metrically strong beats of the bar there. So maybe 4/4 isn't the absolute optimum time signature for this setting. Let's try 2/4. I'm going over to my palettes here and dragging and dropping in 2/4. So 4/4 is more flowing than 2/4. The downbeat is a big metrical emphasis, and in 2/4 you've got twice the number of downbeats, so it's a lot less flowing than 4/4. But let's try it. Autumn is over the long leaves that love us. So we've got an accent on long and us. Still not great, though. Let's try one more. Let's try 3/4. Autumn is over the long leaves that love us. It works perfectly. Thank you, William Butler Yeats, for doing the hard work for us. So we've found our time signature. I'm going to delete these bars here. I'm going to select the first one, make it go blue, select any empty part of that bar so it goes blue and there's a blue box around it, and then I'm holding down shift and then selecting the last bar and then holding command and pressing delete, and that gets rid of those empty bars. So we're going to be working into this now, and of course, name your score, put your name in. And now we're going to start adding our different types of accent to bring this into a convincing text setting. So we've added our first type of accent, which is metrical accent, a really important accent, because the first beat of your bar or the strong beats of the meter are going to emphasize your stressed syllables. So that's our first type of accent, metrical accent. The second type of accent is going to be a contour accent. If you're singing on a sustained note and you leap up an octave, it's going to sound like an accent on that note. So say we take long and I want to put that up an octave. I'm holding down Command or Control and then arrow up, and that pops it up an octave. Autumn is over the long leaves that. That's going to sound like a big accent on that because you jump up to it. So that's one of the biggest contour accents we have in vocal music. It's easy to pitch. So you might also do a lesser one, maybe up a fifth. I'm selecting that note and pressing up, 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 up. And in MuseScore, that moves it up chromatically. And that is also quite a big contour accent to leap up a fifth. Autumn is over the long leaves that love us. So two big contour accents there. We can maintain that sense of a contour accent, but lessening the contrast of it by having stepwise movement up to it. So what about this? So we have a stepwise movement, and then up to the, and then still we have a minor third there, which is still going to give a slight contour accent, but nothing as much as a leap of an octave. And similarly here, we can connect those two notes. Autumn is over the long leaves that love us. So this long is at the apex of the phrase, is at the top of the phrase. That's still going to receive a mild contour accent. So we've done metrical accent, contour accent. Next one is duration accent. Now I'm a simple man. I see the word long and I'm going to put a duration accent on that. So if you make it longer, it's going to sound like an accent on it. If all your notes are regular in length and you make one note longer, it's going to sound like an accent on it. But the other way about is true as well. If all your notes are the same duration and then you make something suddenly shorter, that's going to create an accent too. But this time, let's put a longer duration accent on it. So I'm going to make that twice as long. A lovely bit of word painting there. So when you convey the meaning of the text through the music, so you're making the word long literally longer, that's word painting. And we have to put in, squeeze up these other notes here. So I'm clicking into it and just popping in leaves. That. Long leaves that love us. So we've made it twice as long and squeezed everything else up, so we still have that meter accent on the word love. So that's quite a big duration accent. We can do more mild ones. Let's take this first word and add a dot of augmentation to make, oh, that's a staccato mark, give half the value of the original note to the note in question. Autumn is over the long leaves that love us. So a more mild duration accent for that. On to the next type of accent, our melisma accent. A melisma is when you have more than one note per syllable. So I can take this and I can split that minim up into several quavers and make that a melisma. So we're putting more than one note onto that syllable. Long leaves that love us. So that's going to create an accent as well. In vocal music, melismas take slurs. That's the only thing that slurs are reserved for in vocal music, not for phrases like in piano music, not for bowing like in string music, for melismas only. So to put a slur on here, I've selected that last note. You can see it's selected because it's blue. Hold down Shift, hold the first note, it selects everything for us, and I'm going to press S, and that's S for slur. But we can't leave it there. We need to put on a syllable extender for melismas or ties. So I'm going to select this note. It's going to show the little cursor inside it, and I need to press underscore. So I'm pressing underscore once, twice, 3 times, and then 4 times, and we're up to the next note, up to the next word. And you'll see here that it was centered, this long was centered underneath that note when it was a single syllabic setting of it, 1 note per syllable. But when you make it a melisma, it aligns to the left of the note. I'm going to put that in again, and so you can see that difference. Long, look, it's aligned, it's centered underneath that note, but when you put in the underscore or the syllable extender to give it its proper name, it aligns to the left of the note head. So we've added our melisma accent. Let's put another little ornamentation here. To highlight long and love. Autumn is over, the long leaves that love us. Little upper neighbor note there. Next one, and probably the most obvious one, a dynamic accent. If you make something forte and everything else is relatively quiet, it's going to sound like a big accent on it. So I think this word long is really important. I'm going to put a forte on that. I'm going to select that note and go over to dynamics and put in an F. Don't put in a text F. It has to be this format of F. And it's a bit too much of a contrast to just go from piano to forte. So let's put in a hairpin dynamic. Let's start piano, and then I'm going to select these 2 bars and put in a crescendo, and then go back to mezzo piano. And then very, very last type of accent in this monophonic version of it, an articulation accent. So if you put an accent on something, it's going to be accented. But let's put a kind of a more demure accent on it. Let's put a tenuto marking on it. So just hold that note slightly. Autumn is over, the long leaves that love us. So we've taken our first line and applied these different types of accent to it to develop the piece. Now, all serious creative work takes redrafting after redrafting and redrafting, so this wouldn't be the end of it. But we're going to add one more thing, a harmonic accent. So I'm going to press I to get my instrument wizard up, and let's just work with a keyboard for the time being. Let's put in a piano. And I could make this, I think we're in C major. We could do chord 1 here. Chord 4 here, F. And chord maybe 6 here. Chord 6 would be A minor. get rid of those tenuous marks. If I want to throw something in quickly on top of intervals on top of this bass line, I can hold down Option or Control if you're on a Windows computer, and press the interval number. So I'm pressing 3, 3. That throws in thirds on top of whatever note I had selected. So here is chords. I'm putting in these as lyrics here. Chords 1, 4, 6, and 5. So this A now sounds as a suspension against the harmony. We've got our preparation here, which our note is consonant with the underlying harmony, and then the underlying harmony changes and that note stays the same, our suspension, and then it resolves downwards by step. Disregard the little upper neighbour note. So let's hear that. Happy enough with that. So we can take that and make it into, if we add some more vocals, let's take it into closed score. And I want to make two voices in one stave to have soprano stems going up, alto stems going down. So I'm going to, for the time being, go Option 1, and that pops in everything. And I'm going to select all these. And I'm going to go up to here where it says voice 2, select that. So now we've got two voices and they're all in unison. But I want to perhaps change it. We can keep that the same duration. They can go on to unison there. Okay. So this is very, very rough. So I copied and pasted. I'll just show you how to do that copy and paste. I copied, selected these bars, Control C or Command C, and then down in here, Control V. I want to get that all down the octave, Command or Control arrow down. And I can do the same thing down here. We can go to the first inversion of G major there. And this can be if we do that and then have this come down here. Let's hear this. There's a million things I would change about it. but we've left out these leaves here. And if we're in SATB closed score, we're going to have to get rid of these, because you have in SATB closed score, your dynamics go on the outside of the stave. So this can go into properties, appearance, where's the placement? Aha, below. And we have the lyrics in the middle. And so SATB closed score is used for music that is primarily in rhythmic unison. So you don't need to, so that the lyrics can be shared by multiple voices in multiple staves. And now we can get rid of this, the voice and the piano. Voice, piano, delete. Okay. And we're left with this. Now, there's a million changes I would make with this. But it'll serve as a start. And if you're worried about how can I get from the prose into even making the start, I recommend using this way to do your analysis of the poem and then decide on what syllables are monosyllables and polysyllables, enter them in just as a single note, don't overthink it, and then add these different types of accent. So we've got our meter accent, our contour accent, duration accent, melisma accent, dynamic accent, articulation accent, and then when you go into harmony, your harmonic accent in the form of non-harmony notes like this suspension. And you've got millions of other non-harmony notes like appoggiatura, anticipation, échappé. So you can decide just what size of a harmonic accent you want. You might want everything to be a 12-tone chord cluster, and that's just another type of harmonic accent. So you can do more mild accent, or you can do really extreme ones, and that just depends on your artistic temperament and your vision for the piece.